Thanks for tuning in and welcome to this week's review of Shrek the Third, starring Mike Myers and Cameron Diaz.
Showtime.
I'm dying.
I'm pregnant!
Ha! I am the rightful king of far, far away.
The only thing you're ever gonna be king of is king of the stupids!
Now, with evil forces gathering.
Hook, Wicked Witch, and you, Frumpy Pigskin.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Onward, my new friends, to our happily ever after!
Shrek is on a mission to find the true king.
His name is Arthur. Pardon me.
Ugh, totally ooeth.
Yeah, totally.
But the question is,
Where's Arthur?
He's over there.
Where is Shrek?
Name doesn't ring a bell. Yeah, no bell.
Where is Fiona?
Charlie's got her someplace secret.
where's the baby?
Oh no.
At the theater I went to, they had exactly 30 showings and it was playing on 3 screens and it was going every 30 minutes. I mean, that's pretty impressive. There was only one problem. That was the only thing impressive about Shrek the Third. And now before you get all worked up and think, he's Mr. Black. He doesn't even like these kind of movies anyways, what does he know? Well, I own Shrek the box set, Toy Story, Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, and Ice Age, name a few. I own quite a few of them, so don't think that I don't have an appreciation for these type of movies. I think I saw the first real chink in the armor for the CGI movies when I saw Shark's Tale. I mean, that movie sucked. I didn't like Happy Feet either. It seemed like a mean-spirited take on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and how long can anyone watch a movie where the whole thing's about picking on a misfit? And I know most people liked it because the penguins are cute. Of course they're cute, that's why they made it about penguins, especially the babies, and even I got suckered into it. I love March of the Penguins, and I mean loved it. But I've almost hated everything Penguin since then. And now they had that horrible looking movie Surf's Up, which looks like a nightmarish flashback to the 80s surfing movies like North Shore. And that's a painful reminder how bad a movie can be. I think we should just pretend those movies don't exist and move on. If you've seen the first 2 Shreks, then you've seen this one already. Just remove about 90-95% of the humor, and you have seen Shrek the Third. And talk about resting on your laurels. The original Toy Story and some of the others that quickly followed were great movies. And the real key was it was just as fun for the adults as it was the kids. If you're over the age of 12, prepare yourself for one of the dullest movie experiences you'll see this year. There were several times in the movie where the kids didn't laugh at an obvious attempt at humor, and as an adult, it made me miss the good old days of Toy Story, where the story was good and so was the humor. Now the story is just plain boring, and it's been done before, and it's been done a lot better. There were several times when I would say the lines of the characters before they did, especially when they were going to find the new king. I knew exactly which one was Alexander the first time I saw it. I just couldn't get into the characters and didn't find the story or humor to be remotely entertaining. I would be amazed if this film even came close to grossing as much as the second one did. Why? Because if you lose the adults, the parents will just take the kids to see another movie instead of watching this one multiple times. If a kid nags their parents enough, the parents will give in and see this movie again and again. But if the adults aren't in this movie, the box office will feel it. I just don't think they did a real good job on most aspects of this movie considering the budget and talent at their disposal. There's no real point in talking about the cast. They're pretty much all the same. They can only do so much with a mediocre script. The voiceovers are fine, but nothing special. I've liked Mike Myers' work in the past, but sometimes too much is just too much. Now you have around 4.5 hours of this ogre, and I think I had my fill at around 3. This was a 2-trick pony that broke its leg in the third jump. I don't think this movie is rushed. It's been 3 years since the second one was released, so it's not like they hurried it. They know this. Just putting Shrek in the title alone pretty much guarantees at least $150 to $200 million gross without even trying. If this was the first in the series, I really wonder if there would have been a Shrek 2 and what the total box office take would have been. I just think this movie is all about images, and at this point the whole "I can't believe that was computer generated" thing has pretty much been there and done that. I'll never forget watching Toy Story and just being blown away to how real to life the characters and backgrounds were. And now it's time to up the ante and keep the CGI where it is and develop the story more. This one just thinks that we can call it Shrek and they will come, and for the most part, they're absolutely right. The second and third weeks will be the real sign of success, and I can't imagine this movie doing anywhere near as well as the second installment. I could be wrong, but I think adults just won't go for the repeat viewings on this one like the ones in the past. And that's the real key for the past CGI movies, and this one doesn't have that going for it. The only funny part for me in the first hour was when they're questioning Pinocchio, and he's beating around the bush trying not to lie so his nose wouldn't get longer. And this really wasn't that funny by itself, except for the fact that I was putting George Bush's face on Pinocchio, and that made it funny. It turned into a real politician in a hurry, and if you ever listen to politicians these days, they sound exactly like Pinocchio did at that moment. So basically, it was unintentionally funny. As for the last 15 minutes or so, it was okay, but hardly worth sitting through the first hour and 15 minutes to get there. And one of the biggest reasons for the success of the first 2 films was the music. And while this one did have a few good tunes, it just wasn't the same. And I really cringed when they played the butchered version of the Immigrant Song from Led Zeppelin 3. That was painful. I felt it didn't have enough, and then sometimes it just tried too hard. Everything was pretty much off for me. And remember, this is coming from someone who does like the previous 2 installments, though I must say I did like the first one better than the second. If you have kids, then you have no choice. You will see this movie. And if you don't, watch something else. A little advice to those adults being dragged to this movie: bring your iPod and add your own soundtrack. It'll help pass the time. I know I looked at my watch about every 10 minutes or so, and I kind of felt like I was back in school again waiting for the bell to ring. And when those credits hit the screen, I was out of there. I think you could even see a puff of smoke behind me as I sprinted toward the exit. I didn't even care if there was going to be any outtakes. I was in no mood to laugh at that point, and I just wanted a breath of fresh air. And as I said before, I own the first 2 as a box set, and as far as I'm concerned, the Shrek stops there. For an overall rating, I give Shrek the Third 1.5 stars.
The only thing you're ever gonna be king of is king of the stupids!